Some songs don't just play through your speakers. They crash into history. They shake the stage, ignite headlines, and sometimes even destroy the bands that made them. From 1950 to 2000, rock and roll gave us unforgettable hits and equally unforgettable controversies. Today, we're counting down 10 moments that defined, and sometimes almost destroyed, the music we love. And trust me, number 1 will leave you speechless. Number 10, The House of the Rising Sun, The Animals, 1964. When the Animals released their version of The House of the Rising Sun, they transformed a traditional American folk song into a rock bombshell that exploded onto the global music scene. With a dark electric arrangement and Eric Burdon's powerhouse vocals, the track sounded unlike anything else in 1964. It didn't just popularize the folk rock sound in Britain. It proved that old folk material could be reimagined into international hits. The recording sparked controversy among folk purists, who accused the Animals of tainting the song's purity with electric guitars and a heavy, deliberate tempo. But that very change was what made it timeless. It marked a clear shift from traditional folk to a bolder, more aggressive rock style. Even Bob Dylan reportedly took cues from it when moving towards electric music. The song's massive success reinforced the UK's position as a hub of rock and roll innovation in the early 60s. The Animals opened the door for other British acts to experiment with non-original material, and in doing so, they blurred the lines between tradition and revolution in music. Number 9, California Dreamin', The Mamas and the Papas, 1965. Amid the British rock invasion, California Dreamin' stood out with warm vocal harmonies that contrasted sharply with the guitar-heavy, drum-driven hits of the era. It blended folk, pop, and rock into a vibrant sonic package. The flute solo and lush harmonies made it a radio standout, proving that rock didn't need to be aggressive to have impact. Behind its beauty, the song was born out of internal tensions. The Mamas and the Papas were dealing with personal issues between members, and the recording sessions were reportedly full of drama. Some vocals were allegedly tracked separately due to the band's strained relationships. Despite the behind-the-scenes discord, the track became an anthem of America's counterculture. Over time, it came to symbolize freedom, escape, and the dream of the California lifestyle, even if the band members themselves were far from living in harmony. Number 8, I Got You, I Feel Good, James Brown, 1965.
I feel good.
James Brown may not have been a rock and roll artist in the strictest sense, but his influence on the genre is undeniable. With I Got You, I Feel Good, Brown introduced a groove that fused soul, funk, and rock energy into one electrifying performance. The beat was razor-sharp, his vocals explosive, and his stage presence unmatched. This track shifted the way rock bands thought about rhythm. Many musicians began to realize that groove could be the driving force of a song, not just melody or lyrics. Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones openly acknowledged how much Brown's performances shaped his own stage persona. The song's impact stretched beyond soul music, fueling the rise of funk rock in the late 60s. Without James Brown's raw energy, it's hard to imagine the heartbeat that powers much of modern rock ever taking shape. Number 7, You Really Got Me, The Kinks, 1964. The Kinks' You Really Got Me was a sonic wrecking ball that bulldozed through the polished pop of the early 60s. Its distorted guitar riff, created by slashing the speaker cone of an amp with a razor blade, was unlike anything audiences had heard before. This raw, aggressive sound laid the groundwork for hard rock and heavy metal. At the time, the distortion was controversial. Some radio stations complained that it was too noisy and not fit for mainstream airplay. Critics argued it was sloppy and unrefined, but for young listeners, that was exactly the point. It spoke to teenage rebellion in a way that slick pop ballads never could. The song's success proved that imperfection could be powerful. It became a blueprint for countless garage rock and punk bands that followed, influencing everyone from The Who to Van Halen. In many ways, You Really Got Me was the birth cry of a heavier, dirtier strain of rock and roll. Number 6. Good Vibrations, The Beach Boys, 1966. When Good Vibrations hit the airwaves, it shattered the idea of what a rock single could be. Brian Wilson pieced it together from multiple recording sessions using modular production techniques that were groundbreaking for the time. The result was a complex, layered masterpiece that pushed the limits of pop and rock production. This innovation came at a cost. The recording sessions were expensive and exhausting, with some band members growing frustrated at Wilson's perfectionism. The song's unusual structure, shifting between different tempos and keys, baffled some critics who didn't know how to categorize it. Yet, Good Vibrations was a commercial triumph and an artistic statement. It proved that rock could be both experimental and commercially viable, influencing future studio pioneers like the Beatles and Pink Floyd. It was no longer just about catchy riffs. Rock had officially entered the realm of high art. Number 5. Light My Fire, The Doors, 1967. With its hypnotic organ intro and extended instrumental breaks, Light My Fire broke the rules of what a rock hit should be. At over 7 minutes long in its original form, it defied radio norms that favored short, hook-driven singles. The song's sensual lyrics and dark, psychedelic atmosphere added to its mystique. Controversy followed quickly. Some radio stations refused to play it due to its suggestive themes, and live performances often pushed the boundaries of acceptable television content. Jim Morrison's unpredictable stage behavior only amplified the sense that the Doors were dangerous and uncontainable. In the end, Light My Fire became a counterculture anthem. It helped define the psychedelic rock movement, showing that audiences were ready to embrace songs that were more than quick commercial products. They wanted journeys, experiences, and risks. Number 4. Satisfaction, The Rolling Stones, 1965. Satisfaction was the moment the Rolling Stones truly became the Stones. With its fuzzed-out guitar riff and rebellious lyrics, it was an unapologetic rejection of polite society's expectations. It captured the frustration and restlessness of a generation. The song's open sexuality and cynical tone drew immediate backlash from conservative groups. Some countries even banned it from airplay, which only fueled its popularity among young listeners. The controversy became free publicity, cementing the band's image as rock's dangerous outsiders. Decades later, Satisfaction is still considered one of the greatest rock songs ever recorded. It didn't just shape the Rolling Stones' career, it helped solidify the idea that rock and roll was about defiance, not just entertainment. Number 3. My Generation, The Who, 1965. If one song defined youthful rebellion in the 60s, it was The Who's My Generation. With its aggressive bass line, crashing drums, and snarling vocal delivery, it was a musical middle finger to the establishment. The song even included a then unheard-of bass solo in a rock single. The stuttering vocal delivery, partly inspired by nervous energy and partly as an imitation of speed-fueled speech patterns, became a trademark of the track. While some critics dismissed it as gimmicky, others recognized it as a bold stylistic choice that matched the song's confrontational spirit. Beyond the music, My Generation became a cultural weapon. It gave voice to teenagers who felt alienated and dismissed by older generations. The Who weren't just playing music, they were declaring war on the idea of growing old without a fight. Number 2. Like a Rolling Stone, Bob Dylan, 1965. Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone wasn't just a song, it was a turning point in popular music. At over 6 minutes long, it broke the standard length for radio singles, yet it became a massive hit. Musically, it merged folk storytelling with electric rock, alienating some of Dylan's old fans, but attracting an even larger audience. The song's biting lyrics and unapologetic tone made it a cultural event. When Dylan first performed it live with an electric band, it caused outrage among folk purists, leading to one of the most famous moments of division in music history. Its influence is hard to overstate. Like a Rolling Stone expanded the possibilities for what rock lyrics could express. Cynicism, social critique, and poetry all wrapped in one, paving the way for generations of songwriters to push boundaries. Number 1. Hey Jude, The Beatles, 1968.
Hey Jude, don't
When the Beatles released Hey Jude, it became their longest single and one of their biggest global hits. With its simple opening and massive sing-along coda, it redefined what a rock ballad could be. The song's emotional build-up and extended outro made it feel more like a communal experience than just a recording. The recording process, however, wasn't free of tension. Disagreements over arrangements and the song's length created friction within the band. Paul McCartney's creative control over the track highlighted growing divisions in the Beatles, with some members feeling sidelined. Despite the internal drama, Hey Jude became a defining moment in the Beatles' career and in rock history. It proved that audiences were ready to embrace long, emotionally charged songs, and it set a new bar for what rock could achieve on both a personal and cultural level.